Adopted by Humans. Prologue. A typical doctoral presentation involves a handful of professors attacking a thesis document while the student defends it. This model is common in academia from Earth to Saxilia and everywhere in between, and for good reason. Only experts can judge if someone is an expert or not, after all. But on the day this thesis was presented on Why My Professor is Wrong, a bold title in my eyes, given that I am that professor, the auditorium was packed, and what is more, I knew from the equipment set up along the walls that my student's presentation was being broadcast along the hypercom networks to other channels that would be watched by not only interested individuals, but governments who felt the need to gain a clearer understanding of the human race. The reason for this interest was simple. My student's experience became an interstellar incident a few times. As one of the very few students of anthropology to visit Earth in those days, one I, as the leading expert at the time, handpicked, his word automatically carried weight, even without such incidents. But such was the nature of his time among them, that more than once his name appeared on the Broadcom channels, and propelled governments to take action, carrying himself and the humans he lived with into brief flare-ups of fame that frankly none of them really wanted. Now, as I set this introduction into place for the third edition of his work, I will tell you this. As a student, he was the most ambitious one I'd ever had, and even if he wasn't the smartest of them all, he threw himself into his work with the kind of abandon that makes for success wherever it is cast. He was the most passionate of the little number that I took into cold space that day on the way to Earth, and holding back from reaching out to him in his time of need was the hardest thing I'd done in a long, long time. But holding back for me was as necessary as going forward was for him. Growth, change, and learning may all hurt. But this was the end result, and when you have finished reading his journal of events, I think you will agree that it was all worth it. Chapter end.